Hi, gorgeous Taurus. I am so excited to sit with you all. You guys are kind of the star of the show right now, I would say. Obviously, happy birthday, Taurus, all you May Tauruses out there. What a special time of year Taurus season is. It's so powerful. It's honestly one of my favorite seasons of the year, truly, truly. And this year is extra potent because we've got Uranus, we've got Lilith, we've got the Sun, and even Venus for a few more days here in the month, all working through Taurus. So there's a lot of energy here with you all, encouraging you, pushing you forward, helping you explore who you really are. And I know we've been working with Uranus for a while, so you all, I think, are somewhat used to the effect that's having. I know a lot of you have been going through huge changes in life, like huge changes in the last couple of years since this all began, and it's been really fun to watch. And this month is no exception to the themes and the learnings that come with that. This month is intense. I'm very intrigued and excited by it, is what I am. Jupiter is moving into Pisces for a little while, and this is kind of a preview of 2022 energy when Jupiter will be in Pisces for most of the year. We have a few months here where Jupiter is going to hang out in Pisces starting on May 13th, and this is a really different energy. Jupiter in Pisces expands our psychic and our hidden process. It expands the benefic qualities of doing our inner work, doing our hidden work, being in a state of feeling and being as the way through which we create in the physical, which I think is going to be really great for you Tauruses, because we know that sometimes you get a little overworked. And that can feel like the real thing, like the overworking, the pushing too hard, and the exhaustion can feel like the thing that you're supposed to be doing. We also have Mercury moving into Gemini, going into pre-shadow, and then at the very end of the month starting Mercury retrograde, so that'll be fun. We also have the beginning of Mercury or Gemini season and the beginning of eclipse season. We have a full moon and lunar eclipse in Sagittarius in your 8th house of transformation. Can see where that is going, right? As well as, as we move all this energy into Gemini, we are also moving into second house self-worth, self-value. How much are you valuing yourself? And I love second house work. You're actually, Taurus rules second house, so this is kind of home energy in a way. But it's amplifying the question of, are you really honoring yourself? Are you really, really honoring yourself? Like, this isn't a deep integrity question to ask. And I know I've been doing this work a ton. And I don't want to skip over the fact that we also have a new moon in your sign this month as well, which is a great rebirth. So there's a ton of this energy that's like in your corner, pushing you forward, almost like, get out there. Get on the ice skating rink and just go. Get on the trapeze and just go. And here's the message that came up, and it's so simple. I honestly, the messages that have been coming in this month have been so interesting because they are so simple that I know I will just glide over these sometimes because they're so crisp and clear. And this one was, what are you doing that feels like you do it because it just flows out of you? It feels like it's both flowing out of you and coming toward you at the same time. And there's nothing you could do to like mess it up. And what are you doing in life, like in your routines, in the work you're trying to do, in the relationships you're having, anything, even the tiniest, things that you're doing that you want to be doing. You want to be performing the role. You want to be in the cast as the girlfriend. You want to be cast as a specific type of entrepreneur, but you don't actually want it. You want to want it. You want to be able to fit into magician. I feel like we can just end the reading now. You want to fit into these prescriptions, right? These cultural kind of archetypes almost. Ace of Cups. Okay. Rebirth energy is strong here. It doesn't surprise me. I mean, it is Taurus season in May. It is a big shift out energy. It is a fresh start energy in many ways. But I think here's the key when I'm looking at all this manifestation energy, all this new open energy, Devil. There we go. There's a qualitative difference. Magician, Ace of Cups into the Devil. I think you know, even if you don't work with tarot regularly or read your own cards, you can see the difference between those energies. And that's part of the reason why I love working with this medium so much, is because it gives you instant hits of intuitive wisdom about yourself. Yeah, even just looking at that for me is a great exercise, and thinking about when I feel in devil energy and when I feel in magician energy, and how qualitatively different those are. Oh, 2 cards wanted to come out. Page of Wands and 10 of Swords. Okay, we got plenty to work with here, my friends. Yeah, let's talk about this. We so often want to play roles in life that look familiar, that we can say, yeah, I've accomplished this. Yes, I am this person. Yes, I am this partner. Yes, I am this presence on social media. Yes, I am this type of artist. And we want to put ourselves into tidy boxes and put labels on them. And I blame a lot of this over the last 300 or 400 years. There's been an obsession with labeling and naming things, which there is power in that. But we want to be careful about it, because we can start to label and box ourselves in ways that feel good, in the sense that we get a hit of belonging, external belonging on the cultural level, but can also leave us imprisoned in versions of ourselves that we don't actually want to be, but that we feel that we are supposed to want. And that is the message that came up for me. And when I look at these cards, what I see is a very simple, clear road for me. This isn't complicated at all. Like, at all. Magician, Ace of Cups. Yeah, these are manifestation cards. And what do I mean by that? I mean the things that are really for us coming into our lives, which is always the easy ones that come in. We always think it's about making up these really complex vision boards, which I'm not ragging on that. That can be really fun if you're in the mood for that. It can be really, really fun. But often what comes in for us, it's crisp, it's clear, it's simple, and it doesn't even go on a vision board, because it's a state of feeling. It's a state of being that isn't about things or accomplishments at all. But I will say, with the Magician and the Ace of Cups, these are new beginnings. These are doors opening up. These are answers coming in. And here's the thing. You're going to want to be willing to hear and see and open those doors. And that means don't keep looking at the doors of the wanting to want to be something, wanting to want to fit into something. Just take your attention off of those doors. And you'll know when it's wanting to want something, because you'll feel a little bit of a deadness, a heavy weight. Like, even if like there's a part of you that's like, oh yeah, I'm gonna like go after that. I'm gonna go after that idea, that role, that vision, that me. But then you feel this resistance, and it feels like you're just hitting up against a solid door all the time, and you're getting really tired of it. Those kind of doors are probably connected to something you want to be, but that you don't actually want to be. And the Magician and the Ace of Cups are going to be directing you toward what is really for you, that's really pouring out of you, that's really connecting with you. And that's where the Devil comes in as well. For me, the Devil is about hard work. I mean, I actually really love the Devil energy. It's an important one, because it's about really showing up to something and going to the root system, going under the ground, being with it, showing fully up. But it's also a card of contrast. I will be honest. This is a card that shows up when we've stayed long in something, or we've chained ourselves to something that maybe initially was really good for us and was beautiful and helped us, but has turned into something that we've outgrown, and now we are chained to it. And it's going to a place in our hearts and minds where we feel like we have to keep repeating the same thing. A very different quality of energy, right? From this free, light, bright Magician, Ace of Cups energy, which is all about newness, all about kind of being vulnerable and going past our comfort zone and creating and playing in our emotional integrity, in our relationships, and our creativity beyond what we've prescribed for ourselves up to this point. And I think this is especially true if you've had some success with one form of being in the world. Like if you are an artist and you create a certain type of art and people really love that type of art, but you notice that you are wanting to make a different type of art that looks very different, maybe a totally different medium, and you're really scared because it's going to be a whole new vulnerability for you to share that type of art when you know that people like the type of art that you've been doing, but you know that if you keep doing it, it's really inauthentic. That's a perfect example of the conversation going on here with these first 3 cards. And that can apply to anything, including relationships, just the way you label yourself in life, and even very simple day-to-day routines and identities, and the way you do your hair, and what you wear, and how you sleep. This can happen in a lot of different parts of our lives, and I am a big believer that those little things where we self-betray and where we're not self-honest can actually get in the way. Like when we're really honest with those little things, what ends up happening is we start getting more honest with the scarier things to be honest about, and we start getting back in track with our own internal guidance system. And that's what these 3 cards are really speaking to me about. It's like that radical self-honesty, so that you know that you're doing things you actually want to be doing, not just things that are culturally expected of you. And I mean culture as in your community, your friend circle. Like the cultures we create as humans with other humans often dictate a lot of the things we think we want or need, right? Now, we have so much of this like green sprig, fresh sprig of life energy, and Page of Wands is no exception. Like this guy just goes in there and tries something new. Like Magician and Ace of Cups, there's kind of a newborn energy about it, which means that there's none of this like trauma-based reaction, right? Like all 3 of these cards are just about going in there and doing it as though you've never fallen off your bike, you've never been broken up with, you've never, had those experiences. Like how do those people act? I was even just thinking about myself as like a late teen when I was like 18, 19, some of the things that I would come up with and do and just like go for. It's like now I would just be like, how did I just have the confidence to just go do those things? I just didn't know any better. I hadn't been trained to worry about this, that, and the other thing. And it is a beautiful state to be in. And you are being asked to access more of that. Now, here's the thing that also happens though, the more that we have that kind of self-honesty and the more that we just do the things we actually want to do and we don't keep playing roles, either for approval from other people or even just to feel safe within ourselves. We often do this. We have a death of self. We have a death of a version of who we've been. That's what I notice with this kind of work, right? I feel like this kind of energy shows up a lot for Taurus. Like we've been talking, and a lot of like 10 of Wands, 10 of Swords have come up over the years. And to me, it's always like, it's the completion of something. And 10 of Swords really for me is about the closeout of a version of yourself, an idea of yourself that you can let go of. Swords energy is so much about the stories we tell ourselves, so much about the way that we write the narrative of the world from our perspective, from our own beingness. And so the 10 of Swords is where you can let go of a story. And that can be scary though. It can be very helpful to name and contain ourselves and put ourselves into boxes sometimes when the world's very overwhelming. It can be helpful to own a title, own an identity, and feel the confidence that comes from that. But it's also important to recognize when a label or an identity or the confines of something don't have to be there and we are allowed to move forward. There's a lot of brave energy in this reading. This is definitely not about keeping the status quo in your life. And once again, it's funny because I think when you hear that message, it's like, okay, go start a punk band and play a punk show at a bar and like trash the bar. And like, that's what the radical thing, which that sounds fun, by the way. I would be down. That sounds really fun actually right about now. I feel like we could all use a good punk show. But I think for me, when I think about like radical self-honesty, radical shifts, it's not always this dramatic soap opera thing. It's like, it's genuinely when your partner's making you a cup of tea and you don't actually want the tea, just being like, no, thanks. It depends on who you are and where your bluntness comes out, and where your conversation with yourself is. But it's those types of things that really make the difference. And you have so much good energy here to create, to play, to go for it, to expand, to fall in love, to be vulnerable, to connect with people. But like I said, you are going, the trick with May especially, but in general, in life, don't look at those doors that you keep thudding your head against and feeling joyless about and obsessing about and forcing it on your vision board and forcing it into your journals, even though you know you really don't want it. Here's the thing, when you let that go, you stop forcing yourself to hit your head on that door, right? Of getting like a publisher to be like, your book is amazing, I love it, or whatever. And you just let go of that. What happens is the real impulses, the real doors, the real magicians and Ace of Cups start flooding in. But you can't really see them as long as you're forcing yourself to want things that you don't actually want. And that's what I gotta say. I love this reading for you guys, Taurus. Like, I think I said this last month probably, but I've been really jiving on your readings. Like, when I do your readings, I'm like, I'm following that. I'm going to follow that path. And I mean, my North Node is in Taurus, so I often find that for me, this is where my learning in life is, right? So I'm always looking toward Taurus to see what's going on there, to notice what's going on there, to tap in a little bit. So I love this energy. Be true to yourselves. Live it up. Don't be afraid to be in integrity and wish for things that maybe on some part of your mind you think are too simple, because simple things are gorgeous, or too big. I mean, it could also be big stuff. Maybe you're forcing yourself to wish for things and want things that are really blah to you, and you want to wish for the big thing. Then go for it. Do it. Don't keep yourself locked into your one medium, your one art form, your one identity. Let yourself dream big if that's what you want to do. I'm going to be going deep on Jupiter and Pisces, on Mercury retrograde, on the eclipse season over on Patreon, and I would love to see you there. It's a great way to connect, and I just love the little community, and I also love this community. So stick around, like, subscribe, hang out with me. Please hang out with me. No, I'm just kidding. You can also find me on Instagram and my website, so these are all great places to connect with me and what I do. I will see you all for more of this wild ride in the moon magics and in June's readings. I love you, Taurus, and have a gorgeous rest of Taurus season. Happy birthday.